Ladies and gentlemen, Healthy Criticism here. Today we're gonna try to figure out what in the world is the Crust. If you've played Surviving Mars, you would be very familiar with this kind of game. If not, no worries. It's slightly similar to Surviving Mars, but there's a lot more micromanagement when it comes to your colonists and everything, but as I failed one of the missions, the main missions of the game, for something I'm gonna address in the game. Yeah, I don't have any colonists right now, but I'm sure I can figure it out, and at the same time hopefully give you an overview of what the game is about, so you can decide whether or not you want to buy it. So first of all, before we're gonna do anything, we're gonna take a look at the options menu. You have some gameplay settings, so you got streamer mode. I don't know what that does. Maybe there's copyrighted music in this game. If there is, they can claim the $0 ad revenue. I don't give a fuck, quite frankly. Hopefully I'm gonna curse enough so that there wouldn't be any ad revenue to claim. Anyway, autosave settings, you have every 5 minutes off, or every 10, 15, 20, up to 30 minutes. I would have liked to see it at 3-minute intervals, because why not? You got some camera settings here, edge scrolling and everything. I have it to not lock into my window so I can go to my secondary monitor and change my stuff. You got some graphics options here. You got resolution, display, virtual synchronization is on, and G-Sync is hopefully working. I don't see the icon, but I'm sure it's going to be there. Anyway, gamma resolution, render resolution, LODs disable, I have it on. And then the preset, you have a few options. You got post-processing. The nice thing is that when you do it here on the menu, it actually changes so you can see what you're getting. You have it on Epic, you get chromatic aberration, you get distortion, you get the vignetting. Basically, you get a butter smooth filter all over your screen that hides all the good stuff. You have it like that. There's no chromatic aberration. I think this is a Epic Engine game, because low means off in this scenario. Shadows are on Epic. I don't know why they were off. Maybe I couldn't see it. You got texture effects, environmental details, shading, view distance, all that good stuff. You can reset if you want to. You got some audio settings. I haven't tweaked any of this stuff. This was out of the box experience, which is really weird. You have master volume, music, effects, modules, machinery, interface, voice. Yes, this is voice acted. As far as I can tell so far, everything has been voice acted, which is pretty nice. And cinematics. It does have a few cinematics here and there when you go through the mission. And then, as of course, control settings, you have a few things that you can change here. I haven't really messed with anything. I don't really do any micromanagement with controls. I was never a StarCraft 2 pro player. I don't know how to micromanage. All I do is click and drag and use the WASD keys for panning the camera, which is pretty cool. You have updates here from the developers every time you launch the game. It kind of shows you what they've been working on, which is pretty nice. I'm going to exit out of that so I can scroll. See, there's a lot of stuff that they're working on and a lot of stuff that they're fixing. And it kind of gives you the in progress. Again, this is an early access game. It came out in early access July 15th of last year in 2024. They've been actively working on it. There's a few things that I cannot understand why they haven't figured out yet. Primarily canceling a deconstruction command. That's a little annoying to deal with, but you know, if you misclick the deconstruction command, you're gonna be SOL because you cannot cancel that. So I'm gonna hit continue here. I'm doing the campaign story, the mission, what kind of mission it was. I don't really have much to do besides just go through the contracts and kind of ignore the whole main mission thing. So here we go. This is my base. There's two elements to this game, well, three technically. You have the surface of the moon, you have the underside, the underground version of the moon, and then you have the global version here, the global view that you can kind of go and take on missions and everything, which is pretty nice. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to give you a brief rundown. This is a mission to create a base on the moon, right? You surviving Mars, you go to Mars to survive. This is technically surviving moon, really. You start with your little drones, your little robots here that kind of carry around resources. You can change their function to do other stuff, depending on what you want to do. You have the little charging stations here. very similarly to how you have it in Surviving Mars, right? You have your batteries, you have your solar panels that collect solar energy to convert into power so you can put it in the batteries. There's no dust or dirt level thing that you had with Surviving Mars, so that deterioration factor is not present in the game. Keep that in mind. You don't have to worry about that. But you do have to create electricity poles. In Surviving Mars, it was wires, which serve the same function. You can go into this electricity mode here, and you can connect buildings to the electric poles. Your electric poles start with 4 maximum connections at a time. I've upgraded them to be at 5. And then the batteries have 3 connections, and the solar panels have 2 connections. You kind of have to do a little bit of puzzling, but it's not that deep. You know, you'll be able to figure it out, I'm sure. I am quite certain that you can. You can pause the game, you can do double speed and triple speed. I usually have it on triple speed, but for now, for the review purposes, I'm gonna have it on single speed here. You have some warnings up here that are really easy to ignore. You have a few different types of resource panels that you can do. You can do this one that shows you everything on the side, which I really like. You can hide it completely, or you can go back to that, or you can do the top down here. You can just drop it down like that, which is also pretty nice. I appreciate that, giving me the choice on what to have my display like, which is pretty cool. I usually have it here because it's a little more condensed. I have the ultra wide resolution monitor, so I get that extra real estate, so I can put it there. This is my setup. You might be wondering why these are destroyed. If you do play a game, you'll find out, but essentially you start with a pretty decked out base that has all these things, and then there's like an incident, and there's a destruction, and the tutorial kind of goes through all that. And then you're kind of stuck with this. You can't salvage anything until you unlock the salvaging on the resource panel, which is going to take some time. So speaking of resource panel, this is your research tree right here. You have 3 different categories. You have fundamental. I'm kind of trying to research salvage here. You have engineering, and then you have social. Back on this display, you have research values. So you have the blue, the orange, and the green. I can't remember exactly what they're called. But each one is used for specific researches, right? So you go back to the research panel, you kind of hover over here. This one needs 2400 blue, 2600 green, and then 6450 on the, 2600 orange, and then 6450 on the green, right? And then you have your queue here, which is what's really nice about this is if I deselect something from the queue, it doesn't lose those research points that have been attached to that, right? So if you want to make room for something else, you can. Now keep in mind that all 3 research points are going to be attached at the same time. They're going to be spent at the same time on the resource, regardless of how high in the priority it is, right? So this one right here, salvage, it doesn't need any of the green research points, right? So then what the game is going to do is going to go by order and then just fill in the rest of them while this is waiting for resources, right? And then when nothing is being done, you'll get a warning on the top saying you're wasting resource points. So keep that in mind. There's no banking those research points either. You can only get them as the game progresses. So let's say you're getting 1,000 points per day. Those are not being banked. So the game is warning you, hey, you're wasting research points. That means that move some stuff around so that you can start researching more things and have them ready for completion as you get the research points that you require. Right now I'm not getting any. There's different ways of getting research points. One of them is going to be with contracts, right? So this contract here, if I complete it, it gives me money. Money is going to be the main income of the research points, but I have enough. Do I have enough fuel? I have 14. Maybe I can, yeah, this one is kind of good here. This is creating more fuel, which is pretty good. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna accept a contract. I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna accept it. Then I'm gonna send resources. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna select all the resources necessary, and I'm gonna send them, which is pretty nice. You do lose money when you send resources, but that's just the name of the game there. This is my fuel factory. It creates fuel by using ice and aluminum, or aluminum if you're in the States. So that's how you get research points and money, which is nice. The other way you can get research points is by going to the Crust solutions here, and then you see, okay, I can buy 90 points for however many, 9,000 points from a group of scientists. So it gives me 90 per day until it runs out for 25,000 credits. The way you get credits is again by contracts or by selling things in the market. It's really tough to make money by selling things on the market. I have 128 parts, right? If I sell a bunch, I make so much bank on that one actually. That is pretty good. I am going to sell this much. Oh, I need to tone it down because I cannot sell that many. I'm gonna go down to 4,600 tons, and I can make 100,000 credits out of that. Sold. I'm gonna do it because then I can go back here and I can buy this with no remorse. I can buy this for 90. I'm gonna confirm that up choice, and I need some blue. So the blue ones, wow, the blue ones are a lot cheaper. Actually, no, it's the amount of points. I'm gonna do this one because it's a lot more. I'm gonna do that, which is pretty nice. And now I have a nice income. And then once I complete the contract here, where was it? This one, I can get some of the green one as well, and that's gonna be amazing. So now I'm no longer wasting research points. They're being put to good use. Things are gonna be moving along, and I can have the salvage option finally, so I can get rid of this fucking thing from the... Oh, get rid of this. Get some silicone, get some fucking resources back, and proceed with the game. So this is going to give me a lot of resources, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen a way to repair buildings, but I'm going to start with these, and then I'm going to move forward with that. Let's take it back to the underground. Actually, let's take it back to see how I have my camera here, and I switch from the top to bottom. The game wants to reset the camera for some reason. I don't agree with that. I'm going to voice my opinions, obviously, on the Discord that the developers have. They do take feedback pretty seriously from what I've seen. Hopefully they take this feedback and so much more that I have. So that's the main complaint. The first complaint I have actually with the game is switching from top to bottom view. It does reset your camera angle. And I do like to have my camera angle in a specific way because OCD reasons, I suppose. I don't know. A few buildings are off, as you can see from the warning here. I have this one off, and then I have this one off because I don't need to generate power with fuel. But I'm gonna go down here. You're gonna see, oh my god, there's a lot of things going on. Yes, there are a lot of things going on. So I'm gonna try to make it as simple as possible. You do have a dungeon style mine building here, so you can dig in through the holes and then create bases. Luckily, you don't have to worry about any support beams or anything like that so far. I'm sure that might be something that they bring into the game in the future, but hopefully not, because it's going to be just a pain in the ass to deal with. There's going to be conveyor belts. A lot of conveyor belts here that you can deal with, right? So you have various extractors, resources, and all that. You can create conveyor belts, and they can go into the buildings, and then the building is going to refine that raw resource into something else, and then that something else is going to be refined into the final product here. As you can see, this one is creating regolith. I never heard of that element before, but good old rego here is being generated by the extractor, and then it goes into the refinery, and then you can choose what it gets refined to. You can do iron dioxide, silicon dioxide, aluminum dioxide, not dioxide, oxide, and then titanium oxide. I'm sure the many scientists watching this video have cringed on that one. I have it on iron because the iron is taken to the smelting furnace, and then you choose again what you create, right? So the game tells you, okay, these two buildings go hand in hand because in order to create steel, you need to smelt the iron oxide, which is pretty self-explanatory, right? Now, one thing you have to worry about when you create the conveyor belt system, which is really easy to unlock, you have to go into the robot maintenance here, because then you can kind of tell robots, hey, do not pick anything up from this when the conveyor belt is working, or do not bring any resources here. And that gets really important because let's say here, this is my smelting furnace that creates silicon. I need silicon for a lot of stuff, right? But when the conveyor belt is on, right now I have it off because it sends all the silicon here to this microcircuit factory. If all of it goes to the microcircuit factory, I can't do anything with it. It has to wait there, and then it's going to be converted into microcircuits, right? Microcircuits are not super essential. They are essential, but they're not incredibly essential. Especially not as essential as silicon is in order to repair things, in order to build things, in order to fulfill contracts, and so have you, whatso have you. Now, what I've done is I've disabled the conveyor belt, and I have told them, you cannot bring me any of the silicon oxide, right? But you can pick up silicon in order to use it as necessary. Same thing with this one here. This is the titanium smelting furnace. I told them, hey, you can do the, you can pick up and you can deliver some of the, what is it, titanium oxide into this facility here. So this is important. Remember, this is really important. This one, they can deposit and they can also take the resources that the resource created, which is the titanium plates. When you bring titanium into this building, again, it's super complicated, but you do have to worry about it. Because then you're gonna be stuck not fulfilling a contract because you're like, what the fuck is going on? I have so much silicon being created. Why is nothing happening? And that's gonna be why. So keep that in mind. If you want to succeed in this game, it's gonna be important for you to do so. Now the drones can only do so much, right? You might want to fiddle a few more hauling drones because they're gonna be able to handle more resources. So this is a what is this? Is this a hauling drone? This is just a regular drone. I can't really tell with them. Even if you click, this is just a regular drone, right? And I think they can only carry one of the resource. And I'm trying to see how many resources the hauling drones can get. Actually, this one went in there. It's being converted right now. And when it comes back, oh, there we go. This is a hauling drone. So we're gonna move it here. We're gonna find out where it goes. It's gonna go here. Oh, there we go. How much is it carrying? 9. So it's carrying a few more. It's gonna be a little bit easier for micromanagement. That's it. Pretty much about the underground. These are the rooms. This is where all my people were supposed to go, but they died, right? And how did they die? Well, I would love to show you exactly how they died. And they died by going into here. So this is my rover. Right, this is my rover. The question marks are mission interest points, right? Once you explore them, they become an interest point. So there was the cargo, not the cargo, but the escape pod fell somewhere in here, right? Now this little guy has a scan function. The scan function is about a few inches, like maybe 2-3 inches around the rover. And you were supposed to scan to find where the survivors were from the escape pod. You had 28 days, 28 in-game days. It took it's 28 Earth days, I suppose, because the sun had not rotated once when I lost it, when I had 3 days left, when I was at the crash site. So I was scanning and I saw that I would see this dot, and I'm like, why the fuck is it not showing me where to go? So you have to basically go, if you're scanning, your radius is let's say 2 inches and the dot is 1 inch away, you have to go stand practically right on top of the dot and then scan again before that dot becomes available for an expedition, because only by doing the expedition is when you complete that mission, so that you can actually pick up those survivors or whatever that other mission is going to be. It wasn't just the survivors, but there were other things that I needed to do in order to get to it. And then the survivors died, right? And I failed the mission, and that was a story mission, and ever since I haven't gotten any opportunities to get more survivors. I don't know if maybe I can buy some, let's say on the Crust solutions here. Yeah, this is just research, and then you can buy vehicles, right? I can hire colonists, but I have to do the research, right? And then you go to the research panel. Where the hell are the colonists? It's gonna be here, right? So you do have to unlock the previous researches in order to get to this one, and then this one, and so forth. That's kind of normal with research trees, right? So I haven't done this yet. I do have their their living arrangements ready to go, but I'm kind of skeptical on doing that yet. This is going to be my next step on the game. I'm just making sure that I have enough electricity, because without any electricity, I'm a little fucked. So now I'm wasting research points. Nothing green is being done, right? So what I want to do at this point is, let's say, get rid of this one and start something that needs a lot of green. So the carbon fiber factory needs a lot of green. I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to resume the game, and now all of a sudden I'm not wasting resources, right? So that's going to be pretty interesting. And then when I want to go back and complete the one I just got rid of, which is going to be this one, guess what? The previous assigned research points are still going to be there, and you're not going to have to worry about losing any of that, which is pretty nice, right? There's a little bit of micromanagement going on the research panel, but that's pretty much it. So again, I haven't hired any colonists. I do have the capabilities of doing that, but for now I'm kind of focusing on making sure that my electricity is up and running. I've had a few test runs here. I haven't ran out of electricity yet. I don't know what happens when more people come, but that's going to be something I'm going to have to find out soon. And I do have my fuel generator here to generate fuel, to generate power if there's an emergency. But I should be pretty good. I'm not gonna worry about that. So yeah, that's the scanning feature with my rover has to be improved. No doubt about that. You cannot cancel deconstruction. So this is the dismantle mode here. If I click dismantle on this building, there's no going back. There's absolutely no going back. I have to wait for my drones to come and dismantle the building, and then I have to rebuild it, which is a little bit of a pain in the ass. You do have CPU capacity. Similarly to Surviving Mars, you can only have so many things happening at the same time, right? So every building, every drone, everything is going to take up 1, 5, 10 CPU capacity. There's not really a drop down from what I can see that tells you what is taking up how much, right? So this is a CPU data center. Each one gives you 5 extra CPU capacity, so you can have more things built. It's nice to have. It's expensive to build. As you can see here, it requires aluminum, silicon, microcircuits, and microprocessors. Microprocessors is very advanced. It's going to be much later in the game that you get it. See, I need microcircuits for this, which are created here with silicon and with rare earth elements, which this is what feeds me rare earth elements. Be very careful when you fuck with the priorities. Same to previous games that I've played. When you mess with priorities, it can mess everything up at the same time. So keep that in mind. I had something done here. I had the priority on the highest, and that kind of made my drones ignore everything else. So they were just moving resources from here to here, just back and forth, back and forth. This bulk storage resources, they're just going back and forth, wasting all my time away, and nothing was happening. So I'm gonna get one more of these so I can move more resources around, which is pretty useful. Let's see if I can see another one. This is a mining, and it's getting resources. Okay. That's mostly with the underground here. Keep in mind, don't mess with the priorities unless you have to. I have my priorities set here to maximum, which is the landing platform. This is going to make sure that the drones focus on this more than anything else in order to fulfill contracts a lot faster. And this one, of course, I need a bunch of titanium. I do have a lot of titanium, as you can see here, but it's not being picked up. This is what creates the titanium, and I do have them able to pick it up, and they're not doing it because a lot of it is going on the conveyor belt. It doesn't have a chance to be picked up because it goes on the conveyor belt. So what I'm going to have to do is lock this conveyor belt, and then I'm going to have the drones pick it up in order to take it to this this building here, which is the expedition center. Now you might be wondering, why do I need it here? Well, my cargo rover is waiting for the titanium in order to go complete a mission on the world map here, and I think it's this one. No, it's this one right here, isn't it? I just need aluminum and titanium. So going back here, which one was it I needed aluminum and titanium? Not this one. It might be this. It's this one, yeah. It needs components. I don't know why they're not picking up the components, but maybe it already had it on it. I don't know. But that's pretty much the gist with the underground. You create resources, and then those resources are being used to generate more things, right? My final data center here has been built. I have an extra 5 CPU capacity, which is not a lot. My research has been completed. Salvage. So can I go here and hit salvage? Yes,
Director,
I can.
We've completed research that will allow us to disassemble the remains of the Evermoon base for resources.
Yes, I do need those resources. So I guess it's on the dismantle. I'm gonna do that. You can do shift. The shift function is really nice. I really like it, especially when you're laying down all the electricity cables here, which is pretty nice because you can just do shift and then you can kind of go through the buildings, because you do have to connect them with that electrical wire again, but you don't have to do it one click at a time. You can either hold shift and click, or hold shift and the click and then just kind of drag your mouse around, and then it's going to do it seamlessly, which is pretty nice. Very nice, very nice. I'm getting a lot of silicon out of this, and I did really need the silicon. This is a lifesaver here. This one is going to give me concrete and parts, which is really nice. I have a shit ton of concrete. I'm not going to worry about it. But back to what I would like to see from the game. Obviously, they're adding more resources and everything, which is pretty nice. I'd like to see the camera now fucking tilt back to what the game thinks it needs to be at every time I go, because it zooms in also. Like, I'm zoomed out here. I'm all zoomed out. I tab and then it just zooms me back in. That's not quite desirable in my opinion, right? I do like the research, how there's 3 different research points and they get applied each time automatically, which is pretty nice, and then that the research retains all it needs. What you can also do is, if you need something rare, like let's say, how do I exit back on that one? Somehow I have 13 of that, which is pretty nice. Let's say I need some modular frames. So I can just go to the commerce center, I can go to the market, and I can just buy the commerce frames. They're expensive, right? But if I need 10 to build something, I can just do that. I don't need to worry about waiting for my research to get me there. That is a possibility. That is a probability. That's something you can do. You don't have to worry about waiting that much, which is always appreciated. I don't have enough components to sell, but I do have enough titanium plates or rare earth elements. Let me see how much those go for. All right, we're going to go sell. I'm going to do that. Almost about a little bit less than half of what the components are. So, you know, if I can make some money out of it, why the fuck not? I'm going to do what I got to do. I don't have the larger cargo pod, but I'm going to get it soon. So another 78,000 credits are coming on my way, and that's going to be pretty good. Rare earth elements are pretty nice to... They're finite, of course. You cannot have an infinite amount of them because you need rare earth minerals, and you get them by mining the walls here. Once that runs out, you're kind of fucked. So these are all finite resources. You're not gonna have an infinite amount of resources, and I can't actually mine that unless there's a research that allows me to do that. So just keep that in mind. No voice acting on this one for some reason, but there's usually a lot of voice acting, which is pretty nice. So that's that with that. I think that mostly covers it, you know. I hope they add the cancellation of deconstruction, research complete, multi-regolith refinery. What can I add next? Can I do that one? No, each one is being... I'm just going to add it there just to be safe. So I'm going to go back. I want to see... Also, another thing I want to see is when you complete a research, for an exclamation mark to be here and tell you, hey, this is what you researched right here. So let's see. It's going to be here. Multi-regolith refinery. So 5 regolith produces one of each, I believe, which is going to be a game changer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go... There's one here. I'm actually going to build it. I'm actually going to build it here, which is going to be interesting to see. So I'm going to do that. Oh man, it's going to be a difficult one. I'm going to have to reposition that conveyor belt a little bit more. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to build an extractor. The extractor is going to be here. I'm actually going to have to build multiple extractors, right? So one here, and then let's see. Can I do one here, and then maybe one more? Oh, I cannot do one more. That's sad. I think 2 is pretty good though. That's pretty nice. because it's going to create a lot of regolith, and that's going to be pretty much pumping into this. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a game changer. So yeah, new contract available. I get it. Yeah, there's a lot of contracts all the time. This is going to be a good one because gives me a lot of resource points, but I don't have any of that. You know, I don't have anything that builds it yet. So it's going to be this one, but I need the I guess I can just change. It's fine. I do have a lot of titanium plates and smart concrete, and I'm gonna need to use it. Let's see, titanium plates 260. Yeah, the smart concrete's gonna be what kills me. So I'm gonna cut the video short here because I don't want it to drag on much longer. You kind of saw what the game is all about. It's micromanagement. It's rotating belts. It's conveyor belts rather. I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna do electricity here. So this is what it looks like when you have to provide electricity to buildings. 1, 2. That's too far away. 3. Now this is gonna tank my energy production, so I'm gonna have to do something about that. I'm gonna go back to the surface here, and guess what? I have all this silicon. What I can do, I know I said I'm gonna end the video, but I do get quite not enough CPU. I forgot about that. I don't have enough CPU. I have to build more. Do I have any microprocessors? I got 8. So I can just build more CPU. Fuck it. We're building more CPU. Sign to CPU. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do 1. I have 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's cool. And then I can build some more solar panels, or I can just activate that if I want to use my fuel. I have 18 fuel. That's not much. That's not a lot. So that's it. That's the Crust. It is developed by VM Studio. It is published by Crytivio or Critivio, depending on how you want to pronounce it. I haven't looked it up. It's 20 bucks right now at 30% off. So about $25 for early access. I will say I've put a lot of hours in this game, and every time I say, okay, I'm going to stop to make the video, something else comes up that I discovered, and I'm like, okay, I should probably keep playing a little bit more so I can have all the information that I need, and then something else happens. It's really good fun. It's a fun game. I'm very pissed that I didn't save those colonists because of the scan feature. I do hope they rework it a little bit more, because that's going to be a huge problem for me personally, I think, right? They do need to rework a little bit of the intelligence of the buildings with the conveyor belts, because yeah, conveyor belts are nice, but what do I do if I need to actually, you know, pick something up? Now see here, there's 27 titanium that is not being picked up by any robot, and now I have to go back. So this one is gonna starve of titanium soon in order to create more components. I'm gonna have to activate the conveyor belt again. And then this one is not receiving anything. It has been set to drop off. It needs more titanium. Where are the robots? Why are they not giving it any titanium? You know? So those are the things I need to work on a little bit with the AI. It's very selective on how it wants to act, and I'm not a huge fan of that one. But that being said, this is the Crust, 25 bucks. It's a good game. It's a really good game. If you've played Surviving Mars and you liked it, you're bound to like this one as well. And I cannot wait to see how else they develop the game in the future, and see what else they add to it. But so for now, even now, the asking price, it's great. Just don't fail the fucking mission with the with the survivors, and you're gonna be able to have a much better time than I did. So there you have it. Crust, I hope you found this useful, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.